I did this presentation yesterday afternoon, so I see that many people in this room have, or at least several have, also followed these presentations, and I don't have time to do it in its entirety, but I will be happy to answer questions about it. So some facts I wanted to tell you. Some of them have already been given by Koboto-san, but I will repeat them. In the Telco guide, we recommend package URL as the way to identify precisely a package. I just want to mention that in this summit there was a talk by Philippe Ambrodan, creator of the package URL, and in this talk he told us that they are currently moving the package URL from an informal standard to a formal one. It has been submitted to ECMA, and then it will be fast-tracked to ISO. So it will become in the next month an ISO standard. Koboto-san also mentions another way to identify a package, which is a software heritage identifier. This one is already now an ISO standard. So we will have two competing ISO standards to identify a package. Also, one thing that he mentioned and that is important is the revision of the NTIA minimum elements. So, as he said, now CISA has published an update, and I encourage everyone to have a look at it and to provide comments, since comment is open until the beginning of October. I had no time to check it because it was very recently published, but I will check it and to see if we need to update the SBOM telco guide to take this into account. Still something about two presentations that I have followed yesterday morning. One presentation was about the open source software knowledge base. So it's a project that is supported by ScanOSS. I don't know if you have used their software, but I'm happy to say that we worked with them, and now the output of ScanOSS is fully compatible with the OpenChain Telco SBOM guide, and they made a live demo of it yesterday. The second presentation I followed yesterday morning was about Sepia, and I also recommend that you have a look of it. It's a work by Bosch company, and they are providing open source tools to handle SBOMs, to merge SBOMs, and in their presentation they had a slide about the OpenChain Telco guide. So that's what I wanted to mention. So I will be happy to answer a question or give more details about the telco guide if you want. And yes, we will, as Koboto-san mentioned, the SBOM guide has been the basis of the work for the SBOM work group or study group, and we will follow this work closely to maintain compatibility. So, yes, if there are questions.
Everyone should feel free to ask any question at all. Do I have a starting one? The question is, were you surprised when we found companies like ByteDance were actively using the telco guide?
Yes, honestly, it's not only that, but we we were a bit surprised that many parties were interested in that. And yes, as I mentioned, vendors like ScanOSS contacted us to make their output compatible. So yes, it was more than we expected at the start of the work.
Right. Any other questions? I see Sandra's hand is up. I'll just come over. Here you go.
Sorry, I'm very curious.
Yeah.
So do you have any sort of lessons learned that you found during the development of this telco guide and you will apply for future guides?
Well, one thing that was not seen at the start, but was in fact quite important, is that we wanted the guide to be easily usable, and that's why at Nokia we developed a validator, and with the validator you can very easily automatically check that your SBOM is compatible with the guide, and that was an important step. At Nokia we are using this guide as the basis of our SBOM work, so we will require from our suppliers to provide SBOMs compliant, and we will provide to our customers SBOM compliant, and so it's very useful to have a validator to be able to automatically check that.
One thing I wanted to point out was the validator was a completely new thing for us to have, but it was a very interesting concept that was really useful. And we saw it get picked up. So, you know, for instance, ScanOSS now has third-party validation. So it's like now there's two ways you can validate.
I'm surprised, for example, how little usage the validator, the online validator of XPDX has. I've never seen talks using it, or, I mean, I say XPDX because I'm lately putting more effort there. I'm sure that Cyclone DS has something like that too. But this concept of validators for the format is poorly being used, and when we saw the validator, I mean, as an implementer, it's gold.
Yes, I fully agree with that. I'm very fond of validators, and yes, I am surprised that, well, I won't cite names, but there are tools that are very costly and that sometimes provide invalid SPDX. And well, if you check what I do on GitHub, I submitted many bugs on several tools that provide invalid SPDX. And I had one very good experience. There is a tool called from the Interlink company called SBOM ASM, which is a tool that allows to merge SBOMs. And well, I had tried several merge tools, but they were really not good. And this one seemed to be good, but it generated somewhat invalid SPDX. So I filed bug on GitHub, and there a miracle happened. They fixed the bugs in 1 or 2 days. And now their output is completely valid. And they even quote me on GitHub for providing these bug reports.
So I have one question.
Yes, Jimmy.
So do you find that, you know, there's a saying that you're never a prophet in your hometown, and to this effect that I think we've seen a tremendous uptake of the guide outside of the telco industry, but do you feel like it's sometimes harder to actually convince people in our own companies that this is a good thing because outside of the company it seems to be doing the work of its own? But I certainly found it harder within my own company, sort of arguing for the SBOM guide and sort of I feel like I face more resistance internally than I do externally when I talk about it.
Yes, well, I must say we succeeded inside Nokia. During the time we built this guide, there was an initiative inside Nokia called Pegasus, which was about security due to the famous issues, and it was a bit of coincidence that we were doing this work at this time, but from the start we promoted the Telco guide inside this Nokia initiative, and well, now, as I said, our SBOMs are based on the Telco guide. So I hope you can do the same with Ericsson.
Ours is also based on the SBOM Telco guide, but of course, being the company we are, we had to rewrite that specification, so it's in sort of our own internal language, but it's fully conformant to the Telco guide.
Good.
Right, Kubota-san. So, Kubota-san, over to you.
I have one question, similar to yesterday's question. This guide is currently following the SPDX version 2. Are there any plan to include version 3 or Cyclone DX?
For the moment, no, but it's of course quite possible. The idea to select a particular language, SPDX, was just by doing that, we will be able to implement easily a validator. If we don't specify the format and say only general things, it will be difficult to provide a validator. I was invited by Alan Friedman to present the Telco guide at a CISA meeting about SBOMs, and the one question I got was there were several Cyclone DX people who told me, why did you select SPDX? But so that's why we selected SPDX, and when we started the work, SPDX 3 was not officially published, so we didn't consider that. For the moment, on the day I speak, honestly, most tools still produce SPDX2. I know there are several tools that start producing SPDX3, but it's still a minority. So for the moment, we stick to SPDX2, 2.2 or 2.3, 2.2 being the ISO version. But yes, in the future, we will of course consider SPDX3. In SPDX2, we had to tweak some fields to put some information, which are now native fields in SPDX3, so it will be easier. But for the moment, as I said, most tools still produce SPDX2, so for the moment, we are done with that. Yes?
All right, thank you. Now, back to you. Oh, instead.
Just a comment on the switch from 2.2 to 3. From my limited knowledge on tools in that space, it's going to be harder than people expect to switch from the SBOM generators from 2.2 to 3. So I wouldn't expect that a lot of companies jump in unless their customers actually really demand it. I don't see the companies that are actually, or the open source developers that have been doing SBOMs based on the version 2, jumping immediately to version 3. It's hard. It's harder than it looks like.
Yes, so some comments. We are currently using the official SPDX Python library. I know that there are two SPDX official libraries, one in Python and one in Java, and I know that the Java one is now able to convert SPDX2 to SPDX3. I've tested it, filed some bugs like usual, but it seems to work. One player that now is able to produce SPDX3 is Yocto. They are able to produce both SPDX2 and SPDX3.
Oh, I have a small note as I walk to Marcel slowly. The SPDX project is looking for someone to help update the Python tools to SPDX3. So they're looking for people to volunteer time or funding to get that update done. So I just wanted to make sure people knew that.
And add to that they also have this offer for people doing tools, etc. There's an extra outreach for tool providers that Gary and the group will help for this, what Marc-Etienne just said.
So there's a question. So Max is not doing anymore the Python tools there?
I don't know.
So originally, Max Hubner was looking for the Python tools, and because I volunteered a long time ago, but they say they're already doing, I'm not doing that, so I can go back from there. That's not a problem.
Oh my goodness, really? Okay, we have to tell Kate, because I was just having breakfast with her, and she mentioned that they've been searching for someone to help SPDX3 Python tool. And I mean, the tool's there, it just needs updating.
Yeah, it's not just need to take it. Believe me.
He's an architect.
Yes, yes, it's a big update, and yes, we've submitted. Well, the Python tools have not been updated recently. We submitted some pull requests that were not yet accepted, so I don't really know who is.
Do you see this,
active.
Kate? Are you watching? But so you have some pull requests in.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe the maintainer is gone. So, all right, we'll work on it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, yes, that's important.
That's cool. Right. Any final question for Marc-Etienne? Oh, you had a question? No, that was it. That was it. Alrighty. All right. Big hand.